Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So if you've noticed, my background has changed a bit. I've traveled for work, and given that the subject of traveling, I thought that maybe I should share my travel budget hacks, some tips and tricks if you want to save money when you're traveling. So welcome. My first tip to save money when you're traveling, I think this is the most obvious, is when you're booking your flights. If you can book your flights extremely early, most likely you're going to save some money. So that means that you need to have planned so early on so that you can save money. I remember when, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I was doing my exams, I was doing my CFA exams, and I wanted to do them in South Africa. So I remember I booked my flight like 5 months, because I booked my flight in January for an exam that I was sitting for in June. So I remember like even 8 months before, I was checking like the flight, and I was checking like, okay, when is the best time to book, and I noticed, okay, there's no much difference like 5 months and beyond. So I booked like in January for travel on June. I remember I spent like, I think maybe I had 450 shillings on a return flight. So yeah, okay, the only bad thing that happened when I booked was that I misspelled, was it name, initials, surname, prefix. So they kept Mr. instead of MS, so I had to change. So given it was a budget airline, I was traveling with Fastjet at the time, it costed me more. I think it costed me about 50,000 to change, so my cost went up to around 500, but still I still got a good deal. So if you are traveling, you might consider booking early. So that means you have to plan extremely early. My second tip when you're traveling so that you can save money is on accommodation. You don't have to stay in a hotel. I remember in that same trip, since I was covering all my expenses, I was like, okay, what can I save money on? I stayed at an Airbnb. So I looked up, and somewhere where it wasn't extremely far from my test center, and it was really cheap, and I was still getting good value for money. So and a plus to that was that, okay, I could still go and do my shopping or even food or what. Okay, there's a kitchen, but I wasn't cooking or anything. But if I wanted to even save money on cooking or food, I still would have done that, given all the amenities are there. But if you are thinking of saving money, then you don't necessarily have to stay in hotels. Most times you can get some good Airbnbs and all this home accommodation, and they are going to be cheap. So the best thing, of course, will be to check early and check, okay, I want to stay in a hotel, what am I paying for it, can I get the same value elsewhere and for a bit cheaper, and then you can be able to save money. Oh, and the next tip when you're traveling, like right now I've traveled for work, so that means I have to my clothes have to be ironed. Like I need to have pressed on clothes when I'm going for work. This one I recently discovered. There are these things called travel irons. They are small, so you don't have to pay for ironing. If you're staying at a hotel, sometimes it might be a bit expensive, so I didn't know they existed. Okay, I was recently told, so I went shopping for one, and I think it really saves time, and especially for undecided people like us, we might want to wear something and then decide last minute I'm changing. So you have all this flexibility and you're not paying for it. So as much as possible, I think it's a good investment to have like at least a travel iron. Like you can just have one within your home, so anyone who is traveling can use it. So yeah, so you can decide that, okay, I'm getting a travel iron. It's small, but okay, this is the height of the iron. It's small, so you can decide to just invest in a small iron, so that when you travel you don't have to pay extra for ironing your clothes. My fourth tip, so that you can save money when you are traveling, is to budget. I usually budget before I travel, so I always have a rough estimate of how much money I have for that particular trip. and then I break it down. Okay, how many days am I traveling? So I have like a daily budget that, okay, worst case scenario, I should not spend like more than this on each day. So I usually have a rough idea of how much I'm using. So and most times, okay, even if I keep a lot of money, but most time I try to spend less, and then the extra money I could always use for, say, shopping or what. So I always try not to use, I don't use a lot of money on food or what, but maybe because I want to shop, then I can use all the extra money that I'm saving on shopping. But I usually have like a daily spending plan. Like I know that on any particular day I should not be spending more than this. So if I'm spending more than this, then it means that, okay, somewhere maybe I have to shop less, or I have less money for shopping or what. So I'm always planning that. First I budget before I leave. I know that this is the total amount of money I have for spending, and then I have to budget daily. Of course, I always keep, okay, of course you have to budget for, okay, maybe you got something or shopping or what, but I always try my level best to stick to my budget. Like, okay, this is the amount of money I plan to spend per day, let us try to stick to that. Another tip that you can think of when you're traveling is about food. Most of the time food is expensive, and especially if you're staying in a hotel, most of the time you find that the food that they serve in that hotel is expensive, and it might not necessarily be the best. So most of the time it might be wise to, maybe you can Google for places where you can have like local food or what, or you go elsewhere to like normal restaurants. You will get maybe a feel of the country you are in, and still you might get better food than what you normally get in a hotel. So sometimes you find that maybe you're staying in a hotel, but what they serve is generic. Like if it's chips and chicken, you can also have chips and chicken in your country. But if you go out there and try like local places, you might find cheaper food, and you can still find cheaper food and tastier food and even better value for money. So most of the times when I travel, I want to try out, either you can try out the cuisine, or sometimes you can just try not eat at the hotel and just try and eat elsewhere. Most of the time you'll find that you get cheaper food. And the last tip when you're traveling is always to Google where you're going, Google the weather. You don't want to go to a country and you've not really Googled the weather, and then, okay, it's cold and you need coats and you didn't plan for them. So because maybe you've gone and it's cold, you have to buy expensive clothes. So most of the time I usually try to say, okay, what is the weather? Is it raining? Is it shining? So that I know, like, okay, this and this is what I need. And yeah, so I'm always, okay, I know a problem I have is like I overpack. So I'm like, okay, if it's cold, let us just take, okay, if it's hot, let us just take a sweater just in case one of those nights it's cold. So it's always good to Google, see what the weather is, so that you pack the right clothes that will take you through that trip. You don't want to be in a country, or you don't want to be elsewhere, and then you have to shop for things you didn't plan for. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. Those are my tips that I use when I'm traveling so that I can save money. What do you guys do? What tips do you have for saving money when you're traveling? Please share them in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.